Hi, my name is Teddy Sarian, and for this project I decided to do a pecha kucha. This pecha kucha is about my extended history with animals throughout my life and how these experiences have inspired me to study biology at App State and how I want to have a career, hopefully, stemming from biology. I was born in Omaha, Nebraska, and I lived in the suburbs about 30 minutes west of downtown Omaha. Many people assume Nebraska is a pretty barren land that just consists of cornfields and plains, but I found it to be much more than just these stereotypes. This is my family. It consists of both of my parents and then my siblings. On the right is Max, he's my older brother, and on the left is Lily. I'm appropriately placed in the middle, as I am the middle child of the family. When we were growing up, we pestered our parents more and more as we were growing to allow us to get a pet, but they always told us that they never wanted to have a pet, not even a dog in the house. Eventually, after years of us asking for it, they finally allowed us to get some pets. We got Buster, an English Springer Spaniel, and each one of us kids got our own rat. Sophie was the name of my rat. She was salt and peppered with little spots of brown and black on a white body. And, excuse me, whenever I get home from school, I would take her out of her cage and try to teach her new tricks. And over time, I taught her how to tightrope. One day, Sophie got sick, and I knew that her time was coming to an end. She had a stroke, and she didn't look like she was going to recover from it too well. So I pleaded for my parents to bring her to a veterinarian, but they never did, and a couple of days later, she died. She was buried in a shoebox out back, but she was my first emotional connection to an animal. One thing that many people don't know about Nebraska is that Nebraska has the 9th biggest zoo in the US when measured by sheer quantity of animals. And this is where this place helped to solidify my love for animals. There was a massive butterfly exhibit, as seen on the right, and my parents, they donated and got a plaque on the exhibit that said happy birthday to me. When I was 10, my family moved from Nebraska to North Carolina, and it threw us into a completely different environment from what we were used to. I'd never been able to go to the mountains and the beach so easily, and I remember thinking it was crazy how many trees there were when we first got here. 6 years later, I got the opportunity to go to Australia on a people-to-people trip, an ambassador program through the government. We spent 3 weeks there, and we got to visit various landmarks around Australia, and we also had opportunities to meet wildlife that we didn't have back in America. Meeting all these animals only helped to solidify my love for biology. Later on in high school, I got to take honors anatomy, and this class helped to first solidify the thought that I wanted to study biology in college since I was unsure for so long. Freshman year biology class of high school, we had dissected a frog, but this was the first time that I had dissected an animal as large as a mammal like a cat. After many months of anxiously waiting, I finally received an acceptance letter from App State, a school that I actually wanted to go to. And I had been scared I wasn't going to get into this school for so long. It was relieving to know I could go somewhere that I love to study a subject that I love equally as much. Over the summer of 2018, I began to do more and more concerning biology so I could get my head in the game to study for university. And one of the things I did was buy mixed seeds and see which seeds had no predators in the area or birds that would eat them. And I would leave corn on top of the roof of my house to see if the squirrels could find it. I felt about my bad. I felt uncertain about my concentration for all of freshman year, and after much back and forth thinking in my mind I wanted to do career-wise, my girlfriend Grace was the reason that I decided to switch to ecology, evolution, and environmentalism as my concentration. She goes to NC State, so we don't get to spend as much time together as we would like. As a result, over this last summer, we made a bucket list of things we wanted to do before summer ended. Some of these plans included going to the farmer's market, going to a strawberry field and picking fresh strawberries so we can make lemonade, and also going to the zoo, which was the last thing we did. When we went to the zoo, it was so hot that we couldn't walk outside for more than a couple minutes before we would start to be drenched in sweat. When we first got there, we got to see the Africa exhibit, and that consisted of the zebras, the giraffes, and the elephants. Since it was so hot, we decided to head for the Arctic section. It was too hot for the polar bear to be outside, so we unfortunately didn't get to see that, but we did see seals, and that was what changed my mind on my major. A trainer was hosing down the exhibit, and seals would run up to the feet of her and dance around while she would hose them down. Seeing how happy the trainer and the seal were together, that's what inspired me to look into changing my concentration. Right after the zoo, I sat down and began to research zoology, along with jobs in the protection and conservation of endangered animal species. The more I looked into it, the more I fell in love with the idea of being able to make a career out of working in harmony with animals and protecting the animal kingdom. When I got back to App State this current semester, I scheduled an appointment with my advisor and made the official change by declaring my major as biology with a concentration in Triple E. I no longer feel that I should question what I'm doing in biology class, and I feel like I'll be able to make a career out of doing something out of passion, not necessarily just chasing money. Now that I live off campus, I get to run more experiments with the local wildlife, which mostly consists of raccoons and deer. So far, I found out that raccoons love fruit, especially strawberries and grapes, and that deer love to eat corn. I will always love learning animals and how to protect them from the quickly changing world due to the climate crisis. A lot of biodiversity is currently being wiped out, and I want to help to minimize that. I hope that one day I'll be able to make a career by protecting as many species as I can and preserving the biodiversity that is left on Earth.